Good night, everyone, and welcome to another DTools Cloud After Dark webinar. Thank you all for being DTools customers, tuning in, and giving us so much helpful feedback. Tonight, we'll be covering how to set up and sell a service plan. All right, we want to get this reoccurring revenue and build these relationships and keep these customers for life, right? So as usual, I'm going to breeze through a PowerPoint of our agenda before we dive in, and at the end of our presentation, we'll be doing a live Q&A. We always have a mixed audience, so if you're a new user, welcome to the DTools Cloud team. I'm Leanne, or LB, and I am a customer success manager here at DTools. I'll be presenting this evening. Andre is also a customer success manager, and we're here to help you guys train to become DTools Cloud experts, successfully implement the software, coach you on best practices, and pass your feedback on to our product and development team. Megan is your DTools Cloud account manager, and she's here to help guide you as you onboard and maximize your use of the software by adding training hours and services and helping you guys to scale your business. All right, so we're doing things a little differently tonight and using Teams. So as I'm presenting, if you guys have questions, please drop them in the Q&A chat. All right, again, tonight we're covering how to create a service plan. So how to add pricing, features, and any additional notes. And your plan features are going to help you define the overall coverage that the plan provides. So examples like included service calls, after-hour service, or preventative maintenance visits. And I'll also show you how to create and edit your plan lengths and billing frequencies. Then we want to make sure that we're presenting our plan clearly in the proposal, right? So after we add our plans to the quote, we'll head over to the proposal to take a look at the final document. And when you're ready to start a service contract, you'll also need to generate the payment schedule and start requesting payments. So we're going to cover how to request those payments and enable automatic requests once the contract has been signed. And as always, I'm going to sprinkle in my favorite tips and tricks as I present how to duplicate a service plan, which is new, discounting billing frequencies, some proposal template updates, and some new permissions and notifications around service. All right, so let's jump in. Again, Andre will be answering your questions as I present, so please don't hesitate to ask. And we'll also follow up on any questions that we don't get to tonight. All right, let's do this. Okay, so let's get into our settings. And before we head over to the service tab, I did want to quickly call out that we do have new permissions for service. So I'm going to come into my A team, all right, and scroll down some under projects. Right, so if you didn't know, now you know. This definitely comes in handy to prevent other teammates from deleting service plans and making other adjustments. All right, but now let's head over to our service tab. We can now discount on billing frequencies. I'm really excited about this. So if you want to entice your clients, lock them in and go annual, give them a discount, go ahead and sweeten that deal. Right. But the star of the show or of the evening, of course, are service plans. All right, so our product team has been hard at work and we've totally revamped how to create service plans. Guys, you can now duplicate your plans. This is huge and it's such a time saver. Create a plan, duplicate it, and edit your features instead of having to start from scratch every time. All right, and let's take a look at my platinum plan. So here's my name, of course. Here's my description, my pricing. Right now I have a fixed price for $199 a month. I can also change this to the year. And I can also choose dynamic pricing. So if I wanted to take a percentage of the product's price, labor costs, or product and labor costs per month or by the year, I can set that up too. All right, but I'm going to leave it at 199 for now. All right. And here are my plan features. So my platinum plan, it includes a maximum of 10 service calls per month, after hours online and telephone support, guaranteed 4 hours service response time. And then I'm going to give them 2 preventative maintenance or wellness checks a month. All right, so let's take a look at our features. So we're going to give you guys a head start by providing some features here. And we have some more coverage coming soon. One of my favorites, though, is plan coverage details. So you can simply add text here and manipulate this feature however you want. And then once you add a feature to your plan, Cloud is going to make that feature available when you're creating other plans. Right? And we're also going to give you some examples here. Okay, then you want to define your terms and conditions and then add any additional notes here too. Just start typing here. All right, and then by clicking on this icon up here, you can actually you can take a look or preview your service plan. It's a neat little feature. I like to take a look at what I've actually added. So once you've created your service plans here, the next step is to sell them, right? So let's get into an opportunity that I'm working on. I'm going to jump into this one. All right, and let's jump into my quotes. And I'm going to head to service plans. All right, so here's where I'm going to add all 3 plans. Okay, and I'm going to recommend that Ryan goes with my platinum plan. All right, and so when adding plans to the quote, you can edit the components that come with the original plan. All right, so here's where you can choose different plan lengths and billing frequencies. I'm only going to offer monthly, annual, and one time. Actually, no, just monthly and annual. Here are my plan features and my terms and conditions. All right, and again, you can change this depending on the project or the customer. All right, so let's take a look at our service plan in the proposal. So right now we're in edit mode. In the proposal, the service plan is shown in a separate section called Service Plan. And so here's where you can edit and choose what details you'd like to display. If you want to show the plan description and show the features and include notes, right? How you want to display your terms and conditions. So I want to break them out or have them open it in a new window. I think it's cleaner this way. All right. And then you can also give your clients the option to accept or decline the service plan when they review the proposal. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because it is not optional. All right, and let's put it in present mode to see the finished document. All right, let's come straight down into my service plan. All right, so my platinum plan is the selected one. Right, I'm going to keep it at monthly. And let's just pretend that Ryan is going to, actually, let's go ahead and accept and sign on Ryan's behalf. And accept the proposal. And I also did want to call out that our reoccurring cost is actually here in the summary too. This is also a newer feature. Okay, so now that we've accepted our plan, let's win the opportunity. Okay, so now that we're here in the project, I'm going to come straight to my service contract tab. And here's where I'm going to generate my payment schedule and request my very first payment from the Howards. So I'm going to generate this here. Here I can take a look at my billing dates and my due dates and the amounts. We're going to populate this for you. All right, can generate my schedule and then I'm just going to request payment here. All right, you can also create the invoice with QuickBooks Online at the very same time. I can choose if I want to display my payment schedule. I can edit my payment request message here and save it. And I can also collect payment through ProPay, Stripe, and Card Connect. Right, but instead of creating this payment request, I do want to enable my automatic payment request. All right. So love this feature. We're human and we forget things, right? So you can customize your billing schedule, the contents of the payment request, and the email that's going to be sent to your clients. So once this is set up, here are my payment details. Again, I can choose to display my payment schedule. And here's that email. So once this is set up, your clients will automatically be sent these payment requests on each billing date. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and send this to Ryan. There he is. Via my data tag. Here we go. All right, and done. Okay, so just to recap, you're going to create your service plans and settings, add them to your quotes, choose how you want to display them in your proposal, and then once your contract has been signed, request your first payment or enable your payment request. All right, and then lastly, I did want to show you where you can take a look at all of your service contracts. So here on the service tab and contracts. Right, here's where I can take a look at all of my contracts, what's pending, what's expired, what's been completed, and then one of my favorite filters, when payments due. And it's just that easy to do in DTools Cloud, guys. All right, so I guess we can get into some Q&A. That went by faster than I thought. All right, so I'm going to start calling on some folks. And actually, before I do that, let me get back into my service tab. All right, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand and then I'll unmute you. You can ask and yeah. Okay, Adele. This is new for me, guys. Bear with me.
You may have
It's
to
not
unmute on your side too, Adele.
Yeah, I was trying. Okay, can you guys hear me?
there it is. Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. My question is, after the service loop is closed, if there are no hours recorded, what is the best way to add those in after the loop is closed?
If there are no, sorry, say that one more.
Service hours recorded on the
Sir,
service call. If there's no hours recorded, what is the best way to update that after the loop has been closed?
hmm. Let's jump into a service call. Which one has been completed? You know what? Let me just mark one.
Right
Oops.
now, when I try to do the payment request feature, if there's no hours recorded from my team, it doesn't do that payment request efficiently, I guess. It'll only
Hmm.
do the truck roll fee. It'll tell me, yeah, it's locked from edits and won't let you do anything different. Yeah, no
Oh,
labor count.
okay. I gotcha. It looks like it's a limitation today, but we'll make a note of it. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can get back in and add anything. Yeah, once the payment request has gone out and it's been marked as completed. Okay, noted.
Well, the payment request is not out yet, but the loop is closed.
The service call is closed.
Correct. Just wondering if there was a button I missed.
I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I'll get with our product team, Adele, and I'll get back with you. That's a great question. But yeah, I feel like it's a limitation today because I don't see a way. Well, this is completed. Okay. We'll take this offline, Adele. We'll play around with this together.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. It's a good one. Okay, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good.
So, one question that I had. So, let's say on our premium account, we end up by giving like a 10% discount on service calls after they go past for a year. So within the framework of everything, how would we apply like just different discounts to those customers when we're billing after that they've gone through all their service calls on the service contract?
As far as I know, you would need to sell them another service contract. So we need to send out another quote with a different discount. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it end up by being more like a separate service bill than it would within the service contract.
Correct. Right. Because once a contract ends, you would need to create another contract or
Gotcha.
send them another contract.
Okay. Because yeah, towards the beginning when you're like when you're going over the payment and the discounts and stuff like that, I just wasn't sure how you could apply it. So okay.
Yep.
But I guess if you're doing a separate service ticket, then that would be kind of a different thing. So never mind.
Right.
Kind of answered that.
No worries. Thank you,
All right.
Tyler.
Thank you.
Oh, I see Roberto. Roberto, can you hear us?
You also may need to unmute yourself on your side.
Oh, there you go. That was the issue. Thank you. Hi, Leanne.
Hi, how are you?
Nice talking to you again. Hey, my question is,
Likewise.
we sell service policies not only on top of existing or a materials code or an specific project. So I have new customers that I know I want to provide the audio equipment service policy and also video. So they're more like specific products, if you will. So have the same coverages as the service policies, but I want to put 2 or 3 to the same code if possible. Is that an optional or it's always one on top of other things?
So you want your client to be able to select multiple plans?
Yeah.
What I'm thinking. That is not available today, but we've heard that feature request though. So hopefully we'll get that in there.
Okay.
But that's a good one. We've heard that a lot. Not yet. You're not missing anything, but we'll get there.
Okay, that's good. That one thing will help us. Thank you. That was it for now.
No problem. Thank you. All right. I see my bestie Kurt.
Hi, Leanne. Just wondering, and this may go off of what Tyler had said before, if we offer during the duration of the service contract, no trip charges or, a 5% discount on parts, something along those lines. Will that get transferred into a new that information get transferred into a new project, or do we have to kind of keep a mental note of, hey, this client, on a new project, let's say they upgrade, a projector, or they add on outdoor equipment. Does that automatically go from the contact, or do we have to manually do that?
You would have to manually do that on the project today, but that is on our roadmap.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Good question. Thank you. All right, any other questions? Anything else you guys would like to see again? Chris, hey Chris. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry about that, Leanne.
No problem.
Ran into a situation this morning where I had actually personally went out and ran some service calls, and they weren't put on our schedule. And when I tried to go in to edit the actions that were taking place inside of the service, I couldn't edit those unless they were scheduled on the schedule. Is there a way of being able to put it on the roadmap to be able to edit those without needing them to be scheduled? Because a lot of us do, virtual service tickets, and there's no reason really to schedule it.
I haven't heard that yet, but I'll make a note of it and get with our team. So you don't need to schedule it here. You just want to create.
Not theoretically. If I'm working a service call at the office, I want to have the ability, especially for my team, to be able to see it later. I want to have the ability to be able to put it on there and say, okay, yeah, I've troubleshot this, this, and this. And then if it entails that I need to send a truck roll out there, then I can schedule one of my road techs to actually do that work. But if I can get it resolved locally at the office or remotely at the office without needing to send a truck, I just need to put those notes in.
Good point. Understood.
Christopher, question for you on that. And I understand what you mean. Do you still want to have a record of the date that you did that virtual, or that even if you went on site and you're filling it in later, the date and the time that you did that? I'm assuming it's a question for tracking purposes, to be able to go back and say, oh, we came out on August 24th at this time.
That's correct. We want that ability, along with if we're running, like if I'm in the office and I get a customer that calls in and says, hey, Chris, my control 4 went down. I can't figure out how to get it back up. If I immediately jump on, the composer, log in and try to figure out what is going on or why it's down, or we jump on Oversee trying to figure out why it's down. I want to be able to put notes into D-Tools so that then my guys can use the D-Tools. If I've got to send a truck roll out there to try to, we've tried to reboot the Wattbox remotely. It won't work. That note is super important. So when my guys get out there, they know that I've already tried to troubleshoot that Wattbox, and we're not wasting time on the job.
Right. And I'm just asking this so we can relate it back to our product team, but having the ability to schedule something in the past as a temporary solution, say that it was scheduled, you did some work on it, and now you're deploying a tech to do the second service call.
It's just
would that work, or would you need an actual date and time that you can manually enter?
No, I wouldn't need I wouldn't per se need a date and a time. I just need to be able to work the call from inside of D-Tools, like if we were.
I understand. I follow. Yeah, I'm just asking extra questions.
I was trying. So I'm being told I actually did that yesterday, so I apologize. This is kind of hard track with everything we got going on, but I was trying to go back this morning. I had did the work yesterday, and I was trying to go back this morning to put my notes in, and I couldn't do it because it wasn't scheduled.
Right.
So just,
Okay.
and you can't schedule in the past, like she's
In the
saying.
past.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was my question of if you had the ability to be able to schedule in the past, would that get you by until we develop a feature
I think it
around?
would, yes. Now that I know what you're asking, yes, it would give us the ability to be able to go in and do what we need to do.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, the answer to that's yes.
Okay.
And it's
Thank
funny
you.
you mentioned that too, Chris, because someone mentioned that to me today and during a training. Yeah, just being able to schedule. Yeah, back
The
here.
other thing that I would love to request on top of this, guys, is to be able to get, because in the mornings we do a a morning meeting with all the technicians, basically like a production meeting in the mornings. And one of the things that I have a difficulty with leading that meeting is being able to go from schedule to schedule. I would love for both of those schedules to be more universal, so you're actually seeing either condense it to one schedule or have two separate schedules seeing the same thing. Because I know there's some backdoor things that you guys are doing, projects versus service.
Mhm.
It gets kind of clunky going between the project schedule and the service schedule.
Now, we can show our project events on our service schedule. Also, have you?
Correct. But if I am in that meeting and I am trying to, if I'm in projects and I'm trying to go over 2 or 3 things at one time in the project, it's kind of clunky to drop that off and then try to bounce over to the service schedule and say, okay, yeah, but we got this, and this here too that we need to add into it. It
Yeah.
would be nice to have it where it was, more a little more streamlined than what it is. I mean, it's better than what we had, but streamline it a little bit more would help us a little bit better on our end.
Understood.
Yeah. I understand what you mean when you're trying to schedule service and projects and you're using a pool of text. You need to be able to access both and not go from one to the other.
Exactly.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you. That's great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Okay, Aaron, I see you. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Aaron, can you hear us?
Can you guys
There
hear
you
me?
go. Yes, we can hear you
There
now.
we go. Thank you guys so much.
course.
Totally agree with what Christopher was saying there on the calendar stuff. Just kind of like when you go in to actually schedule somebody on it, you can't like add in the same things that you can on both calendars. So I'm somebody that sits here and does scheduling all the time, and it would be awesome to have, that same capability on it. A few, and I know that's something that you guys are working on. Question on for my field users out in the field. We generate pretty large task lists for these guys, and as they're going through the task list, they're using it on the web browser, and it can get real lengthy, and we're having a lot of issues actually getting through those task lists because we do have, huge projects where we have a lot of stuff that's going into them. So I wanted to see if you guys had any tips on, condensing those task lists and making it a little bit more feasible for the guys to actually check through those, since we are having issues on the web browser. Kind of going into, I know that there's been mention of, an app on the field user end. Is that something that is still in the works? Do we have anything on that?
Andre, I see that you had a note. Did you want to chime in before I said something? Okay. And just to clarify, Aaron, so when you said tasks, so
Yep.
as you're
Mhm.
tasking your installers, you're
Yep.
talking about on their dashboard, like these tasks,
So
it's
yeah,
starting
they
to get
go into
lengthy
their
here, or
dashboard. No, so the
okay.
actual task list within the task. So the checklist, I'm sorry, terminology.
Oh, got it. Okay, got you. the checklist is
So,
getting long.
yep. So
Okay.
we'll end up having 60 things on a checklist when we have a huge install because we're going through each room with everything that needs to be done. And scrolling through that for the guys causes, I mean, they can't really get all of their notes in properly because the scroll when they're on their phones just does not operate properly and they can hardly get to the end of that list. So I wanted to see if you guys have any, tips and tricks on best ways to compile these checklists so that at the end of the day, when they're going through it on their phones, they can actually get through it, in an efficient manner.
Gotcha. No, I don't have any best practices, but would it help if we had pages instead of
It might,
just a
yeah,
long
instead of a
scroll?
form. Yep, it might.
Okay.
That could help.
Okay. We'll explore that.
Awesome. All right. And then one other thing on the service schedule, it had escaped my brain and it is back. So we have, we'll have calls where we send a tech out, we have to do an RMA on a product, and we have to send that person back out for another service call. And then we complete it, but something else happens at that client's house. So 2 weeks later, we have another service call where we're going over there. And creating a new service call eliminates all of that past work and those past notes that they've seen. So I wanted to feature request wise, is there a way where we can link those previous notes from service calls directly to a client so that our guys can go back in and see some sort of history there, regardless of whether this service call is related to the previous one? It very well might be, but even when it comes to those RMAs, those are going to be a double trip. So if I move it over to completed, because that portion was done, the scheduling feature can get a little bit wonky when I go to reschedule it. And the notes that they go to put in, if they're going back for a second service on the same call, it doesn't give them extra room to put in the notes for the new day. So they're having to tack on to the notes from the previous visit, and it can get really, really convoluted. And there's not enough space for them to put all of the notes in if they're there for a second visit. So something with being able to link the service histories back to a client, especially if we have a different tech going back that second time, I want them to be able to, see the history of what's gone on at that house so that we don't look silly not knowing something.
Okay, so maybe I know we're trying to tie notes to clients and bring that into service, but yeah, service history, just trying to think of a way to tie an old service calls history to a new one. Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't, just so you know, LB, I'm sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
No, please, Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's more of not even tying individual service calls. It's being able to reference any service call and see the notes, because it may be something that was related to 4 service calls ago, and John was out there, but now you've got Josh out there, and Josh doesn't know what John did. And so being able to reference those notes, I know I've met with the product team and discussed this ability before, just so you know. We have talked about it. I just don't know where it's at in a development or prioritization standpoint, but it is a good feature. I do understand the request, and it's a good one.
Awesome.
Cool,
Sweet.
cool. And just so that I understand, we would tie that service history to the client. That way,
or the location, or the location, because you may,
if you clicked on Homer Simpson in this tab here underneath details, that'll take you to the client information. So on here, it does, I can see if, service calls are in there. So I can click on that service call and see 3, but my guys in the field can't.
Right. That makes sense.
So they can have some sort of access to this right here and be able to go in and see those notes, then that would be awesome.
Got it. Makes sense. Good stuff.
Thank you,
okay.
Aaron.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, we got lots of questions now. Party starting. Okay. Let's do Tristan, since we haven't heard from you yet. Hello, hello.
I think Tristan might have
Hi, can
accidentally
you hear
muted
me?
himself. There you go.
I
Himself,
I
yeah.
think so. Yes. Say something again. Tristan? There it is.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we are just starting to think about doing service plans, and
Mhm.
I'm wondering if a service plan can only be sold through an opportunity, a project, or can you just sell service plans by themselves?
It does have to be tied to a quote. You have to sell it with the quote or add it to a quote and then get that contract signed.
Okay, so the service plan cannot be a contract by itself because we have a lot of customers who are established customers that I think we might want to try to sell it to without having a new project.
Well, I mean, you don't have to add equipment to your quote. If you wanted to just
Okay,
add a service plan to your
okay,
quotes and then just have them accept that, it'll still become a project, but you don't actually
okay,
have to build out a quote. So you could do it that way.
okay. All right, great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay. Jonas. What's up, Jonas?
Hi, Leanne. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. So with service calls, it would be nice if when in a service ticket, if you could have all the time entries that technicians have for that ticket listed separately when you issue a payment request, instead of aggregating all the hours together. Um, it was done like that in SI a little more, where you can actually have separate, line items for, okay, technician was there on this date for this many number of hours, and then, another date for another time allotment. So it's like there's visibility when you send it to the client, they kind of know, well, okay, that this is how much time was spent on each particular visit. I don't think it
Okay.
does that now.
I don't think so either. I don't think we have a time entries feature for service today. Can anyone verify? Is that
I think it's a feature
Andre?
request.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but it's a good one, Jonas.
That's a good one,
It's a
yeah.
good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, cool.
That's
Yeah,
the
we
way
just
I
need
I
to
know
go
look
what
at
ahead
I
and
know.
it.
I know.
add.
I know what feature. It's like a project summary, but for service calls. For if you go out there 4 or 5 times and you don't have a service plan and you want to bill it all at once because it took 5 visits to do it, then you need to be able to have a summary that shows these are the 5 times we went out there. This is how much time we spent. Here's the total amount that's owed. I believe that's the feature you're talking about, Jonas. You can correct me if I'm incorrect, but that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, just a little more detail in the number
Yeah.
of visits and the length of time for each visit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, thank you,
Thank
Jonas.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Tyler. Tyler, Roberto, and then Kurt. Tyler? Yeah, I think Tyler dropped off. Okay, Roberto. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi again. So 2 more questions since the topic shifted slightly. So one thing when they were talking about technicians, using it on the field,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that there's no feature like this, but adding capability to like unload or download the plan for them to use it offline, because at least for us, a lot of the time we're in new developments where there's no cell phone signal or internet at all. So it'd be good if they can somehow download the task lists, the checklist, and they can work on these topics even offline. And then somehow when they regain connectivity to the network to be able to synchronize what they did, it'd be great, I think, for the long term.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good feature, Roberto. We did build the infrastructure of DTools Cloud, and especially with the field user view, to be able to go offline and do work and then come back online. We just haven't implemented that ability yet. There's still a fair amount of work that needs to go into there, but our architecture is going to allow for that. It's just not available today yet.
Great.
But we
And
are
the
aware
other
of it.
thing,
Thank you,
it's
Zach.
more, and the other one is more related to current functionality that I think is not there. Hopefully it is, but I think it's not. Is the ability to, when you're in a service and you are adding materials or products to that one that you use or you plan to use, there is no easy way to turn them into purchase order, or at least I haven't been able to find that feature. So it would be great if I just, click for those 3, 4, 5 materials. Some of them might not have been in stock and I need to order, I don't know, a new TV, an amplifier, whatever. And then just use a similar functionality that we have in projects, but with the materials that being used in a service.
Okay, so let's go through that. What service call do I have some products in? Let's try this one. So you want to be able to create a purchase order from here?
Yeah, so you have there the materials that I know I need to procure. So
Uh-huh.
right now I need to use a different and a walk around using some other functionality, but it's not easy just to simply add them to a purchase order the way I do with the ones that are in projects.
Okay, talk to me like I'm 5, Roberto. So you don't want to just create the purchase order here. You want to.
No, probably I definitely missed that. I talked to service. I had a service call just looking for this, and apparently I completely missed it. So you can actually create a purchase order from here.
Yeah, if you hover over your items that you
Uh-huh.
replaced or repaired, you can, if you hover over it, click on this ellipsis here and then hit add to and create order. All right, select your supplier and then you'll be able to create your PO.
Never mind then. My bad. New user.
No worries. No worries. So yeah, just edit your service call. Just come to the work summary, products, add to create order. All right. Okay, Tyler's back. Let's do Tyler.
Hey, sorry about that. Networking problems.
No worries.
So ultimately, this is more kind of a general question with everyone, because we haven't fully deployed DTools using service and everything along those lines. With people being on the field and stuff like that, what sort of how exactly are a lot of people kind of doing it based off, are people using it on their phones, grabbing other tablets, and just different things along those lines? Like, it's more kind of a general question. I just know, like, mostly me being in the field all the time, I live and die by just being on my phone. And so when I think of using something that is just web-based all the time, I see so many hiccups with it versus other kind of avenues. And I know you guys are working on an app, which is, a while out. It's one of those where I'm like, okay, how we're gonna move forward with it, but I'm also very like, okay, like, do we need to start doing, like, tablets that have LTE, or have like laptops that are attached to the cars, different things along those lines. So I'm kind of curious on how a lot of people are kind of deploying it.
Yeah.
That way, that way, where it's like, okay, do we need extra laptops? Do we need extra hotspots? All that other, all those other nice things.
Gotcha. Yeah, so a lot of our users are definitely using their phones and iPads. Of course, it's nicer on an iPad because it's a lot bigger, but we have built this for your field user view for your mobile device, your phone.
Mm. Yeah, I've tried doing the phone, and it was a little on the clunkier side.
Okay.
But I mean, as I said, everyone's phone's a little different. Okay, so iPads, things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Tyler,
feel
did
free
you
to.
mean? Sorry,
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Zach.
I just wanted to ask, do you mean you've used it from your phone as an office user or as a field user? I'm assuming as an office user, which
I
can
would say,
be not enough real estate on the phone.
yes, exactly. That
Okay.
I didn't realize that there was a field user. I'm new to all this, so my apologies on my ignorance on the ins and outs. I've just made projects and done things along those lines.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
No, that's great.
No, thank you for clarifying, Zach. Yeah, field user views definitely work better on the phone. Yeah, your office user view, I would use an iPad.
okay, that
Mhm.
clarifies a lot. Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, we need laptops, we need this, we need that, and I'm like, okay, so cool. All right, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Good question. Okay, and Kurt. Let's go back to Kurt.
Piggybacking on what others have said, and this may have to be a feature request or it's out there already, but when it comes time to renew the contract, users want to know, hey, how many hours were you guys really out here for? And it helps us as well too to go, okay, on a general routine, every service contract that we have is say 20 hours a year that we can budget our service contracts. Is there a report right now that we can pull on a service contract for say Mr. Jones and find, okay, we spent in the last year 20 hours working on his service contract?
Not today.
Okay.
Not today, but that's a great feature request. And I'm sure we're already thinking about that too. But good points.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Kurt. We're on it. All right, so let's go back to Chris and then Roberto.
Can you hear me, Leanne?
Yes, I can.
Can you take us through the new change order changes? I have not had a chance to actually see the updates that you guys had done and the permission levels that you had changed. Can you run through that right fast?
Sure. Let's see. Let's do a change order on. I probably have to set up my permissions, don't I? One second, guys. I actually was playing with this morning. Where did I find that?
I was trying to read through that and kind of confused me a little bit, but it was one of those things where it's like I don't really know what the changes were yet, so I had a chance to actually deploy them.
Yeah, no worries. To be honest, I haven't actually worked too hard in it either. Let's try it here. Let's do a TV upgrade. Hopefully I have one in here. And basically, it's basically setting up the permission to have one of your project managers actually accept that change order, or giving your project manager is going to have to approve the change order before sharing it with the client. That's
Right.
basically what the permission is.
Does that permission also allow, like if I've got my lead techs on the job, can they, let's say if a customer decides that they want to put a Roku in the project, is that a way that we can allow them to put that Roku in and then we approve it? Is that an option, or is it got to be done through admin still?
Yeah, change orders would have to be done through admin or your office users. Yeah, field users don't have access to change orders today. So here's
Okay.
that approved change order. Are you sure you want to approve this change order? Yeah, Chris, let's take this offline. Maybe we can do a
Okay.
quick 30-minute training on this.
Okay.
Because yeah, I'm not seeing my permissions too. Maybe it's user error on my end. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I
we
can,
just released it, right?
Yeah.
Leon,
Sorry,
I was
Andre, go
gonna
ahead.
say, I can show you the permission if you want to navigate to the permissions. And then
Yes,
in the
thank
meantime,
you.
I also pasted a link demonstrating this
Yeah,
functionality
I've
as a
seen
GIF.
that. Andre. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my savior. Okay, so where do I go now?
So scroll down to the project section, and then there
Okay.
you're
I
going
knew
to
I
see
saw
approve
it.
or
Yes,
reject.
here it is. Okay, so yes, I knew I saw it this morning. All right, so yep, so edit your user groups, come down and approve or reject change orders. Now, Andre, if I turn this on here, so if I turn, so this user group, so my A team can approve and reject change orders, but if I had another user group and they tried to create a change order, they wouldn't be able to until we came in and approved it. Do you know?
So the user group that has it deactivated, they would require an approval so they can put together a change order, but before they can finalize it, it would have to be approved by the project manager who would receive a notification to approve it.
Got it. So I need to make sure that I create a user group for the users that need that need the approval and untoggle that.
That is correct. But I pasted a GIF
Perfect.
demonstrating that process as well inside the chat section.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hopefully that helps, Chris, and we can still jump on a call and work through it
No,
together.
it does pretty much what I was thinking that it was doing. I just wanted to confirm. I just wanted to confirm my thoughts, because as I read through, I was like, I'm not 100% sure this is exactly what this is doing, but okay. But yeah, it cleared it up, no problem.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Andre. All right, and then Roberto. Roberto, can you hear us?
Now, you can hear me now?
Yes.
There you go. So one feature request I would say is I have a group of 4 directors that they really don't need to simply go and do anything but just the reporting part. So in the future, probably would be great if we have some kind of separate license type that they simply entitle them to review, probably a view only or something kind of license, because they're more interested in seeing the overall status rather than actually doing things. So that'd be great to be a great addition, just because otherwise I need to add, 3 full licenses or 4 full licenses for people who really just go in, take a quick look and, leave.
Okay, and sorry, Roberto, what do you want them to be able to view?
Just pretty much the dashboard, probably, all the summaries, like really it's more for reporting purposes. So they want to see, okay, how we doing, how we down. So it's easy for them simply to log in, see how we're doing, see something and call the project manager or call whomever they think it's important to call just to see the reports. So my point is to have a license type that doesn't need to be a full license, just something to go there and look at the reports.
Okay. Understood.
And that was the last one. I promise I won't raise my hand.
No, it's not a problem. Thank you. Good feedback. All right, and we are coming to the very end. Any more questions? And yes, we will be sending the recording out. Well, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining another DTools Cloud After Dark webinar. Stay tuned for the next one. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be following up with you guys. Any questions that we didn't get to, again, we'll follow up with you. Thank you, guys. All right, and thank you, team.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you for joining.